AAPLE is the program here at the college that gives credit for life experiences for working adults. Students can earn up to 24 credit hours towards their degree in urban studies, and those are in courses that are offered here at the college. AAPLE can help a student achieve or earn quite a bit of credit without having to sit through a course. Instead of sitting through a class, they will write a term paper-like document through the AAPLE program that is then assessed by a faculty member and gets them closer to their degree. Portfolio saves you time and it saves you money. Significant amounts of both, to be honest. If you are taking full advantage of the portfolio, for example, right, you're going to get all 24 credit hours. That could be a situation where if you have to take those courses outright, you might have to wait a semester because the course that you need isn't available in spring semester, right? Or you thought of it too late, so it's full, so now you might have to wait an entire year before you can take the course. If you're including the course in your portfolio, you don't have to wait for that. So there's a significant savings in terms of time, but then there's also a significant savings in terms of money. The AAPLE program bills at $75 per credit hour right now, so for a 3 credit hour course, you're saving literally thousands of dollars, right? So by the time, especially if you multiply that over for several courses, right? The typical portfolio probably has 9 to 12 credit hours in it. Those students are saving just a significant amount of money, versus traditional tuition. Which kind of gets me, I guess, to one other benefit. So the time and money are obvious benefits, but as people go through the program, I think the third benefit that often comes up is the reflection that the program sort of forces upon you, right? So as I go through AAPLE, I look at a syllabus. A course that's often included in portfolios would be negotiation and conflict management, right? It's a required course for many of our majors, and most working adults who have been successful in life have developed skills at negotiation and conflict management. So they will take a syllabus, they will look at the desired course outcomes, they'll look at the topics covered, and then they'll draw parallels to their life, right? So it's through that process of drawing these parallels that they sort of look back and reflect and they think, boy, I did learn a lot in that position or in that particular life event. And sometimes it's happy things that taught us a lot, sometimes it's sad things that taught us a lot, right? A divorce negotiation teaches a lot about both conflict management and negotiation. So those things, reliving or reviewing sort of these past experiences in life really has been mentioned as a very positive outcome, unintended outcome of going through the AAPLE program. Any adult who has some significant amount of experience after high school really would be a good candidate for the program. So oftentimes people go directly to work experience, right? I think if I am going to try and obtain a degree in organizational leadership from the Urban Affairs College at Cleveland State, that boy, I have to have led some type of urban organization, but that's not it at all, right? We're looking for someone who has any type of experience, whether that it can be work experience, but it doesn't have to be specifically in an urban organization. It can be life experiences, it can be volunteer, it can be civic experiences, right? If I have volunteered on a political candidate's campaign, that experience I can probably draw from and obtain, help to obtain credit through the AAPLE program. We also have a lot of folks from police stations, fire stations, former military folks who come through who can draw on those experiences to really kind of catapult their college credits, right? So that they're much, much closer to that degree, that bachelor's degree. The program itself kicks off with a 2-credit-hour course that's taught every spring and every fall, but that's done online, and there are no scheduled meetings. It can be done at 2 in the morning if that's when you have time to do it, and that's when you have energy to do it. But it's a handful of assignments throughout one semester. That class is called UST 190. By the time you're done with UST 190, you have really the guts of your portfolio, and then you're just going to kind of build around it and fill in. You've got about a year after you complete the course to finish your portfolio, and then it gets turned into a faculty member here for assessment. If you go through UST 190, complete your assignments, my job is to provide feedback on those assignments as they come in. And then before the final portfolio is turned in for assessment, I give it one more look to make sure that we have done everything that we need to do to ensure that that student is going to get the credit that they're seeking. I have no problem giving a portfolio back to a student saying, I'm not the assessor, but you might want to beef up this section, or change some wording in that section, and so on. And once we've been through that process, the portfolio then gets turned into another faculty member, someone who I don't know, grades these things to keep things as fair as possible. This doesn't grade, it's assessed to either pass, fail, right? There's no A's or B's or anything like that. But that process, the assessment process, takes a few weeks, but over that time period, the faculty member here will review the portfolio, make sure that the experiences and the knowledge that's presented in the portfolio matches what would have been taught in that class here at Cleveland State, and then issues the credit for that portfolio. So one of the great things about the AAPLE program is if you follow a series of steps, you are guided along the way, right? I think this is, look, when people come into the AAPLE program, oftentimes this is their first return to college in quite some time, and it can be very intimidating, especially then, you hear, oh, this is very easy. Instead of taking a course, you're gonna write a portfolio that's probably gonna be 20, 30, 50 pages long, right? It sounds like it's a daunting task. UST 190 really breaks it down into bite-sized, manageable pieces, one of the first of which is to create just a list of experiences that you think you'll be able to include in your portfolio. This is where people oftentimes go straight to work experiences, right? So I took a seminar at work on, negotiating with the union. So I'm going to write that down, and I'm pretty sure I have the handbook from there, so I know I can use that. Those types of things definitely come into play, and I think that's where, for me as a student, that's where my mind initially went, right? What are those half-day or full-day seminars that work made me go through? And oftentimes those are legal seminars, and things like that. But there were certainly some leadership trainings that fell into play there. So those are the things I thought I'd use, right? My leadership training seminars, my annual legal updates, negotiation seminars, that sort of thing. Now, once you start writing the portfolio, a couple steps later, I've moved from a list that I then refine into something a little better, and I organize it a little differently. And then you start writing and realize there's a whole lot more that I can include from my own life that taught me college level learning, right? That's what we're looking for in the AAPLE program, is what life experiences brought me college level learning. And oftentimes those seminars aren't them. It was the first time I bought a house, or the first time I bought a car. As I review, the steps of negotiation in the textbook from the course, I realized, yeah, I did that, and I did that, and they did that. No one really did step 5, but it still worked out. So it's those other experiences that I think kind of surprisingly make their way into the portfolio. The first time I ever had to fire somebody, that was a rough experience, taught me a whole lot, and it ended up in the portfolio. So, there's a lot of personal interactions that end up there, and a lot of maybe not as formal of training events that occur that end up in the portfolio as well.